another video. So in this video we'll be recreating this effect from Airbnb. So I've seen this in the video they had dropped yesterday, so I tried to recreate it and share it on Twitter, and if people had asked me to share like a step-by-step tutorial on how to do this, so I would use this video to explain how to create this kind of effect inside of Figma. So coming right here, I already have like my Airbnb layout, so I can't start redesigning all of this inside of this video. But yeah, the main thing is basically to create that effect that I showed you just here. So the first thing we'll do is to create this component, because this is a component. We have to place this component on top of this, then we will now overlay it on top of a small modal inside of the app. So let's get down to it. So first thing we have to do is to create a rectangle. Just create a rectangle, draw it. And of course, you always have to make sure it's very small, so it matches up the size of where you want to place it. Let's take this off. Yeah. So. And okay. Let's resize this. Let me place it here so that it looks. I think it still looks a bit big. Okay. Perfect. Good. Then take it outside. Create some curved edges. Now come to this part of the screen and let's curve this to, I set this to 20, and set the bottom part to 20 as well. So now we are trying to build up like how we like the book kind of feel. So let's reduce the weight a bit. Okay. Now we need to overlap another one on it. So let's just use Option and drag. Let's push this up a bit. Now we have to change the colors here. Just maybe use a bit darker. Okay. Then let's probably reduce the size a bit, so it kind of overlaps like this. Okay. Then we copy and paste. Then we send this last layer to the back. Then we need to add a gradient here. So just a linear gradient. This can be fully white. This one can come in towards here, but just increase it a bit towards the end. And the concept is basically to create like a book-like feel here. So I see we already have that kind of feel here. Now we need to work on these edges. So let's set the edge to this other edge to say 8. The other part to 8 too. Now we have our book kind of feel already. It's coming together. Then we can add a rectangle here. Now, of course, let's add a linear gradient. Just make it bring this down a bit. Then you can also bring this down a bit. Now, when we've done this, you can reduce this. Set the radius to 8 all around. Okay. Now, what we'll do here is to blur out this entire layer. So we'll go to Effects, select, go to Layer Blur, and voila. We have our kind of book edge feel here. Then what we'll do is to draw a circle on top of this. Of course, I already have like images added to my color style, so I can just add any of the images there. So you can also decide to add a picture inside. So you can stretch this a bit. Okay. Now, next thing we are going to do is to add an effect, an inner shadow. And let's try to increase it. Okay. That way it feels like the image is sunk inside, like it's, let's increase the spread a bit. Okay. Something like this. Perfect. That way it feels like the image is part of this book. And also increase it a bit so it just increase it to any point that you like. Let's do that a bit. Okay, let's increase the x-axis a bit. Just like that. Okay, I think it looks good. Now we group this. Okay, what we are going to do is to group the second two only. We're going to group those Ctrl G. Then we will lock that in. Let's call this static, because those are the elements we want to move. Then the first rectangle is in the middle here. Then we'll call this the back layer. Then of course, let's just call this our book rib. Now, what we'll do now is to group this. Let's name this to avatar. Just make sure everything all together. So I want to group the avatar, the group rib, and the first rectangle. This will be front page. Here. Now I'll group all of this together. And now, so we have two groups. We have the first group here, which contains all of this. Then we have second group, the second group which contains everything at the back. So let's put this here. Let's put this dynamic, because it's going to change. So we have the static layers, which are those at the back. Then we have the dynamic layer, which is the one up front. Now here's what we're going to do. Now we would select this. Okay, select this entire layer and duplicate. That's before we turn it into a component. Then we'll come here, drag this so it inverts the other way, and make sure it's the same width. So let's check the width here. The width here is for each card is 90. So let's make sure it's 90 as well. Okay. Now join it together with this. Okay. The essence of this is we are going to create two shapes, like one single shape, by combining this. Now, what we are going to do here is, you can see this image is inverted, so we can fix it by just saying as a copy, and you come here, paste to replace. It's fixed. Okay. Then we need to create one single image. Our middle layer is going to go off, so we can turn that off. Okay. Then this, we'll combine this with this to form off one full shape. So you can come here and let's remove the right border radius 0 and the bottom right corner radius 0. So that's one layer. Then we'll bring this close together. Now our book rib, we'll turn it off. Set this layer to white entirely. Come here, remove the gradient, set it to white. Now we have one full shape. We can move this up a bit so we have space for items on the card. Of course, I'm going to replace this later, but let's just see. So if you create two components, now this is one component. So what we'll do is to come here. We'll come here and create component. Now this is one component. We'll come here, create another component. Now this is another component. So we have two components. The closed one, let's name this closed, and name this open. Now let's select two of them, combine as variants. Now here's what you do. You want them to click on this and this to change to this. So you come here, go to prototype, you select it, then drag. This is going to be on click, change to this layer. You switch this to smart animate, Alright, then we're going to use gentle. Then for this, we do the same thing, smart animate, but we can do this as quick. Now, if we go to, let's create a separate layer, and let's duplicate this, or let me create a new artboard. Then I duplicate this here. Okay, now let's do a quick preview. It might take a while to load. Let's see. So while that is loading, let's be adjusting this, just align it to the middle, and let's try this. So once you click on this, and see, now the reason why you're not seeing anything is because it's on a white background. So let's say we make this on a darker background. Okay, or you can come here, add an effect, a drop shadow. The drop shadow actually make sure it displays properly. Let's set this to say 10. Let's preview again. So if you select this, you can see how this moved. Now, in order for this to work better, now we have to create our cards. So what I'm going to do is let's come here. Okay, let's increase this, because we need to know the exact size of, increase the space on the component. You can hold it by holding shift and drag it. We need to know the exact width of this, so I can come and move it to this next component. So what we'll do is to okay, let's place this here. Okay, and that's where it's going to be, towards this edge. And then the next thing we'll do is to bring in this layer. Okay, now what I want to do is to make sure I have everything on this layer locked from this section. Lock this layer, draw a rectangle here. Let's make this white. Now I want to check the width. Okay, what I would do is to come here. Now we need to increase the size. So let me see, drag this here and put it matches. What we can do now is to take this, we're using this height, this width and this height, so you can just copy it, and let's make this a good number, 368. Okay, by 200. See how it works. So come here, change this to 368, change this to 212. Then of course you can delete this, or let's come here, take this up a bit, take this up a notch, and select this, select this layer. Okay, then so next thing we'll do is to place this on top of this layer. Now let's call this our let's rename this, let's call this the model. Okay. Then set the border radius for each of these angles. You can set it to 40 for each. I don't really want it to be white fully, so it kind of stands out, so I can set the color a bit. Okay, then I'll add my drop shadow. Okay, add an effect, drop shadow. Let's you can set this to -4, so it shows up at the top here. Then you can now kind of reduce it, so it kind of feels like an overlay. Then put this here, right click and frame this selection. Okay, now inside of our frame we don't have our rectangle inside it. Remember, we have it inside of our frame. Now what we can do here is to add this small rectangle here, just for set the corner radius, make it black. Then we can reduce this, align to the middle. Let's push this up a bit, just a little bit. Okay, we can switch this to the open version. Okay, now place it here, right here in the middle. As close to the top, align it to the center, and I already have some elements I had before, so I'll just copy it and paste it in. So this I'll just copy. I think I'll just leave the image and copy one part of it, so it doesn't really disrupt the flow. With this, separate this. So I'll grab this, and of course we are adding it to the main layer, to the main component, sorry. Then we have our texts. Of course, I downloaded the fonts for AirBnb, like the original fonts, so that's why it looks as close as possible to the original app. So I would share a link for you guys to get the font as well. And you can only use this for personal projects. I don't know the license for actually building it out for commercial projects, but you can use this for your personal projects, I think. So yeah, let's just take a quick look. To type this, link it to this. Now we remove this, our other interaction we've already done. Smart animate, gentle, remember the gentle flow. Then this, we do it quick. Alright, so let's preview. Okay, now if we do this, it's not really showing up well, so let's work on that. Okay, let's see. Okay, now let's try something. Let's disconnect this. Try to reset the component and see. Okay, reset all changes. Okay, cool. Let's try preview. Okay, so it still has this functionality. Okay, cool. Let's see where this ended. Okay, to my component, see where it is. Okay, let's ungroup this. Yeah. Group this too. So they're all separate layers. Let's try it again. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. Like here. Let's try this. Why is this not showing? It's a bit. Okay, let's cut and paste. Preview again. Okay, it's there. So now once you select this, you can see this comes up. add this bouncy effect to it because of that link. So let's go back and yeah. So you can just basically replicate this like this, and then I think I had this file. Let's I will need to open this file, then copy some of my text inside of this. I hadn't done it before, so I don't necessarily have to do it again. So basically all you have to do to create that effect is just basically create two components. You have all your layers, you invert the first layer of it, then when you get here you can now basically do this. Actually, a very easy way. If you want to also maybe animate this modal-ish, so we can come here. Okay, remember we framed this layer. Let's call this modal frame. Okay, now we can just come here, you copy the model, you come here and paste it. Now remember we have this rectangle and this. We'll push those down. Okay, and remember they're inside of this frame. We tap on clip content. Now they are actually inside of this frame, but they only show up when you select this. So if we, let's also select clip content on this frame. So once you do this, you have this kind of, it feels like this comes up. So let's add it to a mockup so you can see how it looks. Let's go back here, go to prototype, device, I think you did the 10 Pro Max. Okay, cool. Let's preview this. Okay, yeah. So once we tap on this, you have this kind of effect. Might be too fast, and you might want to reduce it. It's just basically adjusting your animation settings. You can try to switch it to something more subtle. I'd say opening editor. Say we switch this to gentle preview. So this is more subtle. Here's gentle. This very subtle. Of course, you can play around with the animation settings and see how best you can replicate it. But I think that's it. And I'm just copy the rest of the things I had before. So I could just copy all of this text and come back here, paste it. Yeah. So of course I will link these files for you guys so you guys can use it as well. So just align this here. Okay, then what else? Yeah, come here and copy all of this, group it, Command C, come back here and go to the main component and paste it in. You can resize this a bit. I think this card is a bit smaller than the one I used. Then you can paste it in here. But so once we previewed this, we have this, and it's super simple to recreate. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please hit the subscribe button, and of course I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.